Hi friends, here I am again and I'd like to show you some different ways of printing. And the first thing I'm going to show you is how to make a dandelion wishing flower, as you can see in the background here. So what you need for this project is you need a toilet paper roll, you need scissors, you need a bottle cap from a water bottle or something else. You also need some cotton balls and some Q-tips, and it's good to have a roll of foil too to hold your paints. Also, as you can see on here, here's my foil. Some acrylic paints or tempera paint would be good. Watercolor, not so much. So anyway, I have acrylic paint, so that's what I'm using. So the first thing you want to do to make this is take your scissors and you want to cut your toilet paper roll, and you want to make these skinny cuts in here like this. So you're going to keep cutting till you go all the way around the toilet paper roll, just like this. And this is what will look like when you're all finished. Then what you're going to do is you're going to dip this into some paint. Now, as you can see over here, I did white paint on colored background paper. That's only if you have construction paper. And not all of you do, but you probably have white paper from your computer at home for your printer. And so I'm going to show this on white paper because I know that's what most of you would have. So here's my white paper, and here I put my paint down. I put some white and I put some of this maybe periwinkle, sort of a light purple color. And I'm going to take a brush and dip it in some water, and I'm going to mix and put a little bit of white paint into that like this, a little bit more. All right, you want it nice, you want it to flow, and a lot of you have that craft paint that just pours out. That would be good. I have the tube paint that I paint with at home, so I have to moisten mine a little bit so it's not quite as stiff. All right, so there we go. Now I'm gonna take a toilet paper roll that I already had cut, and I used this in purple, so that's why it has purple on it. And I'm dipping it into the paint so that all the little prongs of the toilet paper roll have paint on them. And then I'm going to take it onto the paper, and I'll start up here so you can see how that works. I'm going around, I'm turning my paper towel roll like this to get that look of the seeds on a dandelion flower. All right, put in there a little bit more, come in here, get some on this side, like that. All right, so when you're done with that, then you're going to continue to make these little seeds by using a Q-tip, and I'm going to dip that into the paint. And now I'm going to take some little dabs from the Q-tip, and I'm going to go around the edge of this flower like this. So it kind of looks like the seeds are ready to float away in the breeze, like this. And going around in here, and then I might put a little bit in the middle of this too, like that, and over in here. Then what I want to do is I want to take this bottle cap and I want to dip that in the paint like that, and I'm going to put that right in the middle, and it makes like a little ring in there. Now I'm going to get a skinny brush next, and I'm going to dip that into my purple paint, and I'm going to make a dot in the middle like that, and then I'm going to draw these little painted lines away from the dot and stopping at the little bottle cap holder like this, and over here all the way like that. Kind of reminds you of slices of a pizza or a wagon wheel. All right, and then when that is done, you want to take your cotton ball. Now you're going to dip it into the paint, but before you dab it on your flower, try it on another piece of paper, because sometimes too much paint will come out like that. So you want to keep dabbing it until you get a nice soft little fluff like that. So then I'm going to start doing this next to my flower. So it looks like you're taking one and blowing it, and the seeds are starting to blow off of the flower like this. Oh, dab on here. Dab on here, maybe a few down in here. On a breezy day, you make a wish, the wishing flower. All right, then to finish this, what I did is took a skinny brush and I took a green. Over here is another palette that I have. I have some green already poured out, and I'm going to make a stem. I'm doing this upside down so that you can see. Here is my stem, like that. And then I'm also going to mix, I'm mixing a little bit of dark green and medium green together. And I've noticed that dandelion, the leaves on them are kind of zigzaggy. So I'm going to do some zigzags in here, like that. And coming up in here, and then I'm going to zigzag back like that, and then I'm going to paint in side of that. There we go. And a little more water, and like this. So I hope you've been doing some art at home during this pandemic, and I know you have a lot of schoolwork to do. But sometimes it's nice to take a break and just relax and maybe try some of these painting skills. All right, and a little bit more over here, like this. And painting that in, like that. And maybe you want to add some grass at the bottom of this. Maybe you'd like to add maybe a little bumblebee or a ladybug. You know, onto the flower. I'm going to make a little bit of grass in here for my flower. And it's really, dandelions are really weeds, but they are so beautiful when they're yellow, and then they're fun to blow when they turn white and the seeds blow in the wind, like this. I know one time I collected these when I was little for my mother, and this story was told to me by my mother, and I had a whole bouquet of the white dandelion flowers to give her, and by the time I rushed home, all the seeds blew away, and I was so sad. I was crying because I had these beautiful flowers for my mother, and half of them were blown away. So that's a funny story that my mother told me. And so then you can add some grass. But anyway, so that's one technique of printing with a toilet paper roll. All right, so now let me show you the next project we're going to do. And that is a print. We're going to print with a piece of paper and also a sheet of foil. So we do need a sheet of foil, which I'm going to pull out like this. It doesn't matter which side you work on, the dull side or the shiny side. Now, in memory of Memorial Day, I thought we would do some poppies, but you can do whatever kind of flower you would like to do, or it doesn't even have to be a flower. It could be an ocean scene, it could be animals, it could be an abstract, but this is so much fun. What I did, first of all, and you can see in the back here, this was my foil where I put my paint, and this was the print I made on a white piece of paper. And so let me start by rinsing my brush. Okay, here's my palette of colors. So what I noticed, because I was practicing this before I I videoed this for you, is that I tried to do this on a piece of white paper. All right, that was my paint, and then I went on top with another piece of paper and pulled it apart, and this was my print. And by the time I made my print, my acrylic paint was already drying, and it didn't make a really good print, even though I do like this, but you can see where some of the paper even pulled up. So I thought, what can I do that this is gonna work for my students? And I thought, I'm gonna try this on a piece of foil. And it worked. And another thing that made it work is I watered down my paint. It can't be too sticky. It has to be more fluid. So I'm adding some water here to my cadmium red, which is an orangey red. And then poppies are beautiful flowers. I don't know if any of you have poppies in your gardens, but Mrs. Heiser does, and she showed me a picture. She sent me a picture of her poppies, and they were just beautiful. And so I'm going to do some poppy shapes on here, like this, like that, and making sure I have enough water. Whoops, there's a little bit of a drop. I don't want that in there. Okay, and here's another one. You can vary the size. Maybe you want small ones, maybe you want bigger ones. I've heard from a florist that they like to use an uneven amount of flowers in an arrangement, so an odd number. So instead of stopping with 4, I'm going to add a 5th one. They always say odd numbers are better for design. So there's my 5. Then I'm going to take some of this dark purpley color, or if you want to use like a blue or even a black. It really does look black, it's so dark. But I'm going to make my middle in here. I'm going to add some of my ultramarine blue to my purple, which will make a really dark, and I'm putting that in the middle. But I want to make sure I use enough water, because that's why it didn't work other times. And here I'm doing this, and adding this to the middle like that. Now once I have my flowers, you got to work fast, because this dries really fast. In honor of Memorial Day, I'm going to use some red, white, and blue. Well, I already have my red, and I'm going to use some blue stripes in the background here. Maybe I'm just going to flow through here with some blue, like this, like that. And you know, I was very interested, because I know during Memorial Day parades and Veteran Day parades, they give you a poppy with a little message on it. And I got curious, so I asked Siri what the history is behind the poppies, and I have a poem to read to you. And it happened during World War I when this poem was written by a colonel surgeon in the Allied forces, and a lot of times they read it during a Memorial Day service. All right, I'm going to use some white now, and maybe I'll even smear some white into the blue. You don't have to be real careful about this. The freer, the better. A little more white in here. And then I'm going to add some splashes of yellow, because I have the blue and the white stripes, maybe some yellow for stars. Since we're printing on white paper, we don't want to use just plain white, because it won't, you know, really show up that well. But some of my white mixed with my blue here is a light blue. So how about some yellow spots in here? How's my paint doing? It looks like it's okay. Not drying out yet. And then how about some green leaves? That will set this off. So here's my green. And I'm going to do some green leaves in here, maybe some light green and some dark green, like this. And anyway, during the World War I, between 1914 and 1918, there was a lot of bloodshed. And the amazing thing was that in the spring of 1915, underneath all the dead bodies bloomed these beautiful red poppies. And General McCree was so inspired by this that he wrote a poem, and I'm going to read that to you. So now, here's my foil with the paint. I'm going to put a piece of paper on top like that. I'm going to smooth on top of this like this, and then comes the fun part. Okay, gently. Oops, that part dried a little too much, but it's coming, it's coming. I want to make a hole in my paper, but I should have added a little more water. I can see that this isn't flowing as good as this print over here, which I really use a lot of water. Let's see. Here it comes. There it is. There's my print. This is called a mono print because you can make one print from this. Mono means one. So here is my mono print made on piece of foil with acrylic or tempera paint. Remember, you want it to be watery enough so that it doesn't stick. You could tell mine was starting to stick a little bit. But anyway, I'd like to end with this poem about the poppies. In Flanders fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row. That mark our place, and in the sky the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, we felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders field. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch, be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders field. Thank you for today. Bye.